Hey guys, it is Margie from Reclaim by Ramsey, and we are so glad that you're back with us today. Today, it is all about bottles and what you can do with bottles that you either find at a local thrift store, like I did with this one, for $2. I'm going to show you what I do to it that makes it really cute, or what you can gather out of your own trash, or maybe even your neighbor's recycling bin. Doesn't matter where you get your bottles, I'm going to show you how to upcycle them, so stay tuned. So here's the first bottle I'm going to show you. It's probably like maybe some kind of cider jar, but I loved it because it has kind of this waffling design on it, and I thought instantly that this looked like a beehive and a bee skep, so I'm going to go with that theme. And it's got this beautiful design all over the back, but in the front you can see that it is clear. And that is a perfect place for me to add a stencil. I spray painted all of my jars with Rust-Oleum flat white spray paint, and now I'm just giving them a good distress with some sandpaper. Now I'm just going to tape down my stencil, and I'm just going to do this in a simple black and white, and I'm just going to use a very, very little bit of paint to do this. The trick to stenciling is to use an extremely dry brush. Hardly have any paint on it at all. I just dip the very edges into the paint, and then you can see I just dab it back off because you don't want to overload your brush. You almost want it to be totally dry. And then I'm just going to pounce up and down all over the stencil with my paint. If I need to go back over it, I will, but generally one coat is really enough. You'll be surprised at how good the stenciling looks after you have finished. And I like to take my stencil off immediately. So that's how I do it. Now I'm just going to add some ribbon as an embellishment, and wait till you see the finished product, guys. I hope you stick around to the end because I'm going to show you all 3 projects when we're all done. Now up next, I'm going to just decoupage something onto the front of one of my little jars. And I've simply taken a calendar, and you know the little sample pages that are on the back? Well, I cut that out, and I'm going to simply apply it with some I like to apply a thin coat, press it down and get all the bubbles out, and then either using a damp sponge or a damp rag, I just make sure that there are no wrinkles and that I've cleaned up all my edges. Once it's dry, you can go over it with another coat of Mod Podge, or you can just put a coat of wax on it, which is what I'm going to do today. Now with this next bottle, I actually painted this one by hand with just some regular chalk paint, and it gives a nice weathered look when you go over it with wax, which is what I'm going to do later because you can see all the little lines. Again, just adding a thin coat of Mod Podge, placing it down on the bottle, and getting out all of the little bumps and wrinkles. Now here I am just adding a mixture that I have of Waverly Antiquing Wax and water, and I just keep it in my peanut butter jar, and then I'm just going to paint it on, and then I'm just going to wipe it back, and that's just a dry paper towel that I'm wiping it back with, and just adding more until I get the look that I'm looking for, which I just want this to look a little bit aged, a little bit rustic. And since I painted this one with a brush, all of the wax will kind of settle down into those little brush strokes, and so it's a perfect application for this. And now I'm just again going to use my jute cord from the Dollar Tree. I love this stuff, and I'm just going to tie it around until I get it looking just like I want. I decided to throw this footage in as a bonus because I used this little stool to stage the rest of the bottles, and it just looked cute. So I decided to show you how I did it. Now that my decoupage bottle is dry, I'm just going to sand back the edges to give it a little distressed look. So guys, what did you think? Did you think we took some what would have been trash and made it into some treasure? I know that the bottles are easy to find, whether you're looking in your own refrigerator, your own liquor cabinet, or in your neighbor's recycling bin. I'm sure that there's a lot that we can all do to keep these bottles out of the landfill, right? So if you want any of the stencils that we used today, remember that you can always go over to reclaimedbyramsey.com and get stencils. We have a new section that is going to be a DIY it yourself, where I give you the raw materials and maybe such as some of these glasses that I have, and you can upcycle them in the way that you want to. I would love to hear what you do to your bottles in the comment section. I read every single comment and I absolutely love reading what you have to say, the good and the bad. So until next time, guys, bye-bye.